The rotary saw, they have, it looks like a diamond tip rescue blade is what that one looks like, which is similar to the ones that we carry. It's not the same one. We carry a different brand. That will cut through your concrete, that will cut through your rebars, that will cut through garage doors, those outward, those hinges that were on that security door the guy was using a torch on. Again, that's going to be an angle thing. You have room to get to that. It's going to be 100 times faster than setting up, if you can get to it. It's going to be 100 times faster than setting up your gas, stretching out your hoses, and using a torch on that. Again, that's a specialized technique. I don't know that Grandview has people that have been trained in that. Could very well. I don't know. I don't know everybody on every shift what they've been trained in. Where else at? Yeah, that's it. We pretty much carry the three that you see on there: chainsaw, reciprocating saw, and the rotary saw. You'll hear reciprocating saw called the sawzall quite a bit. Probably more than you'll hear reciprocating. You'll hear sawzall. Those blades are changed out with a little lever on the side, and they're 2 seconds to change out a blade. They're super fast. You go from wood to metal and nothing. Those power sources for the saws can be self-contained battery packs, gasoline engines, and electricity from a generator or a wall outlet. They have their limitations, each of them do. Obviously, the self-contained battery packs can be lighter and more maneuverable. It's just going to, you're limited to what the battery holds. The more power you try to use that saw from, the longer you actually hold the throttle down on it and force the blade to go, the faster the battery's going to go down. And then you're limited to that, having a spare battery and what have you. Gasoline engines, so their deals, they put off an exhaust, so you want to be in a ventilated area. You're limited to the amount of gasoline that you have with you. They're generally a little heavier because of the motor on there and what have you. But you can go about anywhere you want, just like the self-contained battery. You're not limited to a hose, a wire, a plug-in of any sort. And then there's electricity from generator or outlet. So those limitations on there, I feel like those are some of the better ones. They maintain a consistent power, and if you can stick next to somewhere close to your power source, your saw is not going to stop. It's not going to stop until your blades have to be changed out. Every saw, drill, power tool, anything like that, let it do the work. The manufacturers built them to cut at a certain pace, to screw something down at a certain speed. Let it do it. The more pressure, the more you force it down on there, the more it's going to bog down the motor and not give the effective cut or the effective screwing that you guys are trying to get. Let the tool do its work. Trust your tools. You need to be familiar with the saws your department uses. Again, we typically use those three that were just up there: the sawzall, the quickie saw, and the chainsaw. I stated earlier, you always want to follow the manufacturer's recommendations and your department's SOPs. We do use a lot of tools for the unintended purpose, and that's after a lot of trial and error and a lot of education on the actual tool itself and the capabilities. When in doubt, always refer to the manufacturer's recommendations. No matter what, you always wear eye, hearing, and hand protection, and fire helmets, because we look cool. Again, it's going to be the shrapnel, it's going to be the heat, it's going to be the decibels of the striking that the striking's putting out, the motor's putting out. Motor may not put out a whole lot of dBs in an open area. Get into a smaller area, of course it's going to reverb off the walls, and it's going to sound a lot louder to you. That's where your hearing protection is going to want to come into play. Forcing any saw beyond its design limitations can result in property damage and or injury of the user. Again, that's what I'm saying. The designer has designed that tool to cut at a certain speed, to cut at a certain rate, or to drill at a certain rate. Let it do it. Just kind of maintain the support on it and help guide it into, I guess, and control the tool itself. You never use a power saw in flammable atmosphere. We went over that earlier with the like that MAP gas torch that the guy was using. Flammable atmosphere, you're going to have gases or particles that will quickly ignite, could quickly ignite if the case arose. Cautions. They say this quite a bit, it must be super important. Wear appropriate eye, ear, hand, and foot protection when operating a power saw. Never force a power saw beyond its design limits. Follow the manufacturer's recommendations. Again, they say that a few times, it must be really important. Do not use a power saw in flammable atmosphere. Third time we've heard that. Also must be very important. You don't want to be part of the problem when you get in there and things go south and you decided to use the wrong tool in flammable atmosphere. Looks bad on all of us. Feels bad for you. Sparks from cutting operations can cause additional fires. You should have a charged hose line or portable fire extinguisher close at hand during the cutting. Yeah, that's self-explanatory there. You're gonna create heat. You're gonna create fire. You're gonna create heat, possibly create fire. You need to have something to control that. That was kind of self-explanatory there. Oh, never use a rotary saw to cut the shelf of any storage tank that might contain flammable vapors. When I was in the fire academy, they showed us a video of a guy doing that, and we didn't it was a still photo rather, not a video. So the guy was sitting on it like this, and he was cutting down into it. Had that been full of flammable vapors, that guy was going to go for the ride of his life. He may not live to tell about it, but it was going to be the ride of his life. You're going to want to try to there's going to be caps on those somewhere. You're going to want to try to get those out and get that vented out. If you can get some sort of a fluid in there, like a water, to kind of disperse all that out before you cut, do that. If you can't, you're going to want to get with whoever owns that tank or is responsible for that tank and find out how long it's been open, how long it's been vented out. If enough of the gas has been able to come out to where you can actually cut it safely. Again, emergency situations, say a child fell in that tank, you're going to have to adapt and overcome to the possibility of there being flammable vapors in there, and we have to work around that in a safe manner. The blade guards on some of your rotary saws are not designed for use with carbide tip blades. Be sure that the saw is designed for the blade's use. Again, refer back to your manufacturer's suggestions. When I was telling you earlier about the blades on saws, some of them will gum up and the blades are close together, so they'll collect a lot of debris. Some are far enough apart that debris throws out, and that's what that guard is there for. One of the reasons the guard is there for is to catch that debris and help not throw it into you, and also protect your hands and bodies from that, the blade spinning around. Those carbide tip blades, they'll gum up inside of there really fast. They gather a lot of crud up and they leave it inside of that guard. Once that guard gets full and gummed up, your blades aren't spinning properly. And again, the more it rubs on, the more friction you create with the heat, and your dangers arise. Prying tools. So we're going to use prying tools for opening doors, opening locks, opening windows, and moving heavy objects. Not all men are created equal. Some are built like me, some are built like this guy. I use a whole lot of prying tools to move stuff. This guy probably picks them up and carries them. Know your limits, know your tools, and know what they're capable of doing. Again, pre-incident planning will let you know about your windows and your openings, if they are locked with padlocks, if they are locked with a slide locks in form of a panic lock. If they keep heavy objects in a means of egress that you have to get out of the way, what you'll have to use to move those, what type of tool or person you're going to use to move those. Again, I use tools a lot because I'm not a big fella. Bigger fellas can just pick things up and move them. Let's take a quick 5-minute break here, and we'll go over the mechanical advantage of like the Halligan and what it's going to do for us, and how it actually helps us out in the field. So, do a 5-minute break or so, we'll be back in here and go from there.
Oh, thank God.
Right? I had to go to the restroom too. Alright, Nico, appreciate it.
Lauren wants today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think it'll be a big deal when it's the chief. I think it's a big deal when it's the student.
I totally agree. Well, as long as the school's getting their money, I don't think they care.
I think it's freaking awesome that he's gonna switch you from reimbursement to, paying for that stuff.
Well, that's the problem. I've
It's
already
just a
made,
hassle for you.
but I've made 3 payments already.
And what have they reimbursed you on?
Nothing yet. So that's why.
Oh, that's even better then.
Well,
So you'll get those 3 reimbursements back.
yeah, I'll get the
and
3.
You won't have to pay anymore.
Yeah, I'll get the 3 reimbursements. But yeah,
That'll
this
stop you guys
next
from
one,
getting behind.
which will be great, because
And then after the 14th,
after that, this is my last month, and then after that, it's just I have 2 months. But
and after the 14th, they should vote on that other deal, and then you should get a lump sum for the back due.
yeah,
That'd help get you guys back up to par.
yeah, that would be good.
Yep.
Getting that lump sum from reimbursement. Nice.
Fred and that other guy, now they're coming.
Oh, I thought Fred left.
They got canceled on that call.
You want me to run out and get them?
Yeah, go grab her. Let's get this party started.
Yeah, I agree.
So I can't use any gas-powered tools in a flammable atmosphere?
I know, it's ridiculous, right?
They're out in the hall. They're coming.
Oh, should we just...
Yeah, they got canceled on that call. Alright, yeah, there you guys are. Oh, I died. Alright, where were we here? Mechanical advantage. So, the idea behind the mechanical advantage is, leverage. You're using the door frame. What he's done is he slid the forks of the Halligan in through there, and he's created an opening here between the door and the jamb itself. You can use the jamb itself as a fulcrum to actually do his prying. So then he's going to do forward direction away from him, which will in turn push this front of his forks against that, and the back of the forks against the door, pry the door outwards. Not 100% sure. There's a mathematical equation that tells you the exact mechanical advantage that this length of a Halligan bar is going to give you. I don't know it off the top of my head. I'm not going to test you on it. That's stuff we can look up together. So the way he's holding that Halligan right there is giving him a certain mechanical advantage. Now if he was to switch it around and put like the adze or the the adze in there, or the pike probably not so much, but the adze would probably give him around the same mechanical advantage. I would go out on a limb and say the pike not quite as much because of the size of the pike itself and how it's fastened on there. I could be wrong, but I would say it's going to give you a little bit less mechanical advantage. Again, I could be wrong. We can look that up to double check. I don't want you guys leaving here thinking that I said 100% this was the same and it not being the same, but we can totally check that out too. Manual prying tools. Your crowbar, the Kelly tool, A lot of your captains carry that small Kelly tool with them. Flat bar, pry bar, a pry axe, a hux bar. I've never even seen a hux bar.
Mm-mm.
I'm assuming that those are like
Gas
gas shut
shut
off
off.
valves in
Yeah,
there.
that's
and
what it looks
such.
like.
Yeah. Claw tool and the Halligan tool, my friend. Each of those tools are designed for certain jobs, but are also the shape and design that we need to do a lot of other jobs, and we can, as firefighters, make them work in different uses. I wouldn't use this for much of prying anything other than screws, nails, maybe some boards that are glued together or something. These are fairly thin. They are a hardened steel, but again, they're a quarter-inch thick. They're a flat bar, they're a pry bar. This pry bar is probably about an inch thick right there. Crowbars, Kelly tools. These Kelly tools are usually smaller. Like I said, a handful of our captains carry those with them. They're a handy little tool for smaller rooms and smaller doors. They're not quite as large. They're about half the size of this Halligan, so it's a little more versatile to get in, carrying around through in the fire scene. But to me, up there is the Halligan. It should have been up there above crowbar. That's my eyes the best one up there.
I'm assuming the pry axe is a full size.
The pry axe is a
Because I feel like that's every tool.
It's
Pretty
a
much
full
almost
size
every
axe.
tool you need.
Yeah,
All in one.
with some forks on it.
Yeah.
It's basically a pighead axe with some forks on
Mhm.
it. Never actually used one. It kind of looks like you'd still want a flathead axe or a pig or a sledge to work your forks in or stuff.
Mhm.
But it does have that good pipe on the back there, so
Mhm.
that might be some good uses out of it. Again, I've never actually used one. We had them on display when I took the class, but they didn't actually physically use it. You can Google up a picture on how to use it?
I'm looking at
Heck yeah, do that, we'll show it to the rest of the class. Hydraulic prying tools. So these know no pain. When you hit open, they open. When you hit close, they close. The limitation on those, again, is going to go to the area that you need it used at, the length of your hydraulic hoses, and the area around you, the space that you have to work in. Even though it's a hydraulic tool and they don't slam close, they're a slower movement, but there's so much power behind there, you're still going to work. This guy's probably getting ready to go into a ideal H area, that's why he's got his mask and hood on, but no matter what, it's still a prying tool, cutting tool. You're going to wear your full PPE on it. You're going to want to wear your gloves, your glasses, and your hearing protection, and the fire helmet.